We're going to start Perek Yud Zayin, and we will deal with the Nachalas Bnos Tzlofchad. The Psukim read as follows: Vayi hagoyrol lemata Menashe ki hu bechor Yosef lemochir bechor Menashe avia Gilad ki hu oyo ish milchama vayi loy hagilad ve'aboshon. As Rashi, Mochir was the bechor of Menashe. Lefichach not al tchilo b'mei Moshe be'ever hayarden, vayehi loy agilad ve'aboshen. Vayehi libnei Menashe haneisorim, the other sons of Menashe, lemishpechoisom, livnei Aviezer, velivnei Chelek, velivnei Asriel, velivnei Shechem, ulivnei Chefel, ulivnei Shmido, elo bnei Menashe Hazechor ben Yosef Hazechor ben Mishpachosim. The other Bnei Menashe, not Mochir, who was the Avia Gilad, the other sons, which is Aviezer, Chelek, Asriel, Shechem, Chefer, Shmido, 6 sons, Hazechor ben Mishpachosim, Velitzlofchad ben Chefer ben Gilad ben Mochir ben Menashe, Lo hoyu loy bonim ki'im bonis. Ve'ele shmois benoisov, machlo v'noyo, choglo, milko v'sirtzo. Vatikravna lifnei Elozar HaKohen v'lifnei Yeshua binu b'lifnei Anisiv le'moyer. Hashem tzivo es Moshe loseis lonu nachalo b'soich acheinu, vayiten loem el pi Hashem nachalo b'soich achei avihem. They're telling him the story that happened during the time of Moshe. Bnei Tzlofchad came to Moshe Rabbeinu and he gave him Nachlo. Vayiplu chavle Menashe asoro. Okay. Me'eretz hagilod ve'aboshon asher me'ever layarden. Ki bnois Menashe nochlu Nachlo b'soich bonov ve'eretz hagilod hoiso livnei Menashe haneisor. So we're going to want to make some kind of seder in this ambiguous psukim, that it seems like Bnei Tzlofchad are taking part here in Eretz Yisrael, Vatikravna. They come into Elozar and Yeshua Binun, whereas in Sefer Bamidbar it says they came, and the Psukim here said he gave him Bnei Mochir ben Menashe, who got his Nachalas B'ever Hayarden. So we're going to want to learn this today. But in order to get there, we'll have to get some chloride. In the Goyro of Shevet Yosef, Menashe is the first, because he is the B'chor. And the first, like we said, the Goyro went al pi nevuah, and the one who happened to be the Bechor was Mochir ben Menashe, who was the first one, was Oila Begoyro. Mochir ben Menashe, if we make some search on his history, steht in Parshas Vayechi, Vayar Yosef leEphraim bnei Shileshim, gam bnei Mochir ben Menashe yuldu al birke Yosef. In other words, Yosef saw he had a son Menashe. Menashe had a son Mochir, and the Bnei Mochir ben Menashe, okay, Yulda al Birke Yosef, means Yosef was zeicher to see a great grandson, the Urei Niklach, Bnei Mochir ben Menashe. As I state in Parshas Vayechi. When we come to Chalukas Ever Hayarden to Bnei Gad Bnei Reuven v'chatzi Sheves Menashe, steht in Torah, Parshas, over there in the Parshas Matos, Vayelchu Bnei Mochir b'Menashe Gil Odo, Vayel Keduo, Vayoyesh Esor Moira Shebo, Vayiten Moshe Es Agilod LeMochir b'Menashe Vayeshibo. Says clearly and precisely that the Mochir b'Menashe captured the Ever Hayar, the Gilad, and together Bnei Reuven, Bnei Gad, the Chotzi Shevet HaMenashe was Bnei Mochir b'Menashe, who elected to capture Gilad, and that what Moshe Rabbeinu gave this Mochir b'Menashe. If the Mochir b'Menashe, which is not Klor, is the same Mochir b'Menashe that lived in Yulad al Birke Yosef, so this Mochir had to be a Zokein Muflog when he captured Ever Hayarden. Why? Because from the time that he was by Zayda Yosef, even when he was a little baby, and there was 210 years that they were in Shibud Mitzrayim, and 40 years they are in the Midbar. The parasha of Negod Bnei Reuven happened in the 40th year in the Midbar. So minimum he had to be 250 years old when the Maisa of Negod Bnei Reuven, if it is the same Mocher b'Menashe. Look at the Ramban. The Ramban was mesupik if it's the same Mocher b'Menashe. I read the Ramban in Parashas Mata. V'tam v'yitem Moshe sagil l'Mocher b'Menashe l'mishpachto kibonov lechoduho. The reason why he gave it, because the sons of Mocher is the ones who were kovish the Gilad. V'cheinu l'Mocher nosati es hagilo v'lamachiri b'avur heyoyso nichbad v'roish l'kol zara yikru bonov bishmoi. כי כן יום הקצוב בראשה עד שבותי בנחלוס נגבו לאפרים וצפונו למנשה וכן למנשה אויס ארץ תפוח. ומה שאומר הכוסו בספר יהושע, unsere פוסק sagt der Ramban, ויהי הגוירו למטה מנשה כי הוא בחור יוסף, למוכר בחור מנשה אבי הגילוד כי הוא היה איש מלחמו ויהי לו הגילוד והבושון, גם כן על בונוב שהיו אנשי מלחמו כי הם הולכו מגילעודו ולחודו, ולכך נוסן להם מוישה חלק גודל מהם. ואולי היו עדיין מוכר כיום, ולא נגזר עולוב גזירס המדבר, לפי שלא היו מפקודי מוישה והארון, שהיו לו יוסף משישים שונו, וערך שונים כדרס הראשון. Ramban is besupek. If Mocher b'Menashe could be just called, because that was the name and the fame and the mishpacha was called Mocher b'Menashe, even though Mocher was not alive anymore. It's just mishpachas hamichir, geisen, the Zayde, he was mishpachas Mocher. Or could be he wasn't in the Gzeir, he wasn't with Pekude Moshe V'Aaron because he was more than 60 years old. He's not nichlal b'Gzeir, if not, if boy or he should be died in the Midbar. And therefore it is the same Mocher b'Menashe. Ramban is not 100% sure. The Bnos Tzlofchad, let's get to Bnos Tzlofchad, what we are learning right now. They are a few doros later. If I'm looking at the Psukim, it says in the Torah, if I'm looking there in Bamidbar, in Sefer Bamidbar, in Parshas Mates, steht Bnei Yosef l'mishpachos Menashe ve'Efraim, Bnei Menashe l'mochir mishpachas ha'mechiri, u'mochir oiled el Gilad. Gilad is the son, Mocher who captured Gilad, has a son who was called Gilad. LeGilad mishpachas ha'Giladi, Ela bnei Gilad, who are the sons of Gilad, who is the son of Mocher. Shteit mishpach Yezer mishpachas ha'Yezri, lechelek mishpachas ha'Chelki, Asriel mishpachat Asriel. This is Pesuk in Parshas Pinchas. V'Shechem mishpachas ha'Shichmi, Ushmida mishpachas ha'Shmidoi, v'Chefer mishpachas ha'Chefri. The sons of Gilad, one of the sons of Gilad was Chefer. V'Tzlofchad ben Chefer lo hayu leibonim ki im bonis, Shem bnoi Tzlofchad mochel v'noi chol lemilcha v'sirtza elu mishpachas Menashe v'fkudeh 52,100. So stay do that the bnoi Tzlofchad, these 5 girls, machel noy chol lemilcha and sirtza, they are the daughters of Tzlofchad, who is a son of Chefer. Well, Chefer was a son of Gilad, who was a son of Mocher b'Menashe. In other words, Chefer was a Zayde of those 5 girls, who Chefer was one of the children of Gilad, who was a son of Mocher. Comes out Mocher was a Zayde of their Zayde. Their Zayde was called Chefer, and Chefer was a son of Gilad, who was a son of Mocher, who was a son of Menashe, who was a son of Yosef. The 8 doiris from Yosef. In the Medrash, very, very interesting, in the Medrash Rabbah in Bamidbar, Vatikravna Bnos Tzlofchad, the parasha Vatikravna Bnos Tzlofchad, steht in Medrash הזה, Oisai hadoi royu anoshim goidrois mashe ho anoshim poirtzim. The women were goider wherever the anoshim, the men, were players together. שכן אתה מוצא שאומר להם הערים פירקו נזמי הזוב אשר באוזני נשיכם ולא רצו אנושים. When they made the Chet Egel, the women did not want to contribute their jewelry to go ahead and to make the Egel. ומיכו בבעליהם, שנאמר ויספרקו כל העומס נזמי הזוב, והאנושים לא נשתתפו עמם במעשה העגל. So they didn't want, ויספרקו means to say they forced, the man forced the woman to take off the jewelry in order to contribute it to the egel. Steht Medrash v'chen motzin b'meraglim she'yitziyu dibo v'yashu v'yalinu olav kol ha'edo v'aleim nigza gzera she'omru leinu chalalis. These meraglim, the gzera, everybody is a dayan amiba ben esra ben shishim, was nigzer and the anoshim. Aval anoshim lo hoyu imoim be'etz. Steht klar in the Medrash that the noshim was not included in the gzera of the meraglim. Shkosu lemala min haparsha ki Hashem omer leMoise yamusu bamidbar v'lo noisa mehem ish ki im kolev ben yefune ish v'lo isha. So ish v'lo isha, the whole gzeras hameraglim, those who died in the midbar because of chet hameraglim, stayed the only ones who died are the men and not the women because they were not included. They weren't included not in chet ha'egel. They were goider were the man with porotzin, and not in chet hameraglim. And therefore, in the einish of not going into Eretz Yisrael is only an einish which was said on the men and not on the ladies, not on the women. Aval hanoshim korvu levakesh nachalo. The hanoshim in chet hameraglim leirotzu likonis la'oretz state the Medrash. Aval hanoshim korvu levakesh nachalo. Lefichach nichtevo parsha zu somuch lemisas deir hamidbo shemishom portzu hanoshim v'godru hanoshim. The reason why the misas deir hamidbo is a somuch to the parsha of Bnos Tzlofchad is because whatever the men refused, chet hameraglim, they didn't want to go to Eretz Yisrael. Nit no rosh with the shuv mitzrayim, we don't want to go to Eretz Yisrael. They were refused. And therefore, the Noshim, Bnei Tzlofchad, are coming to ask for Nachalo in Eretz Yisrael. In the Yalkut it says, L'mishpachas Menashe ben Yosef, Keshem shechivev Yosef esa'oretz, kach yoytze chalotzov chibevu esa'oretz. The Medrash is bothered with the question why it says, doesn't say anywhere else, it says L'mishpachas Menashe. Why does it say Mishpachas Menashe ben Yosef? Where does Yosef come in to be included in the Chalukah to Menashe? Says it that the Ahavas Eretz Yisrael that Yosef had went by Yerusha to Menashe, who gave it over to his descendant to Bnos Tzlofchad. Where do we find that Yosef was Mechabe v'Sa'oretz? Where do we find that Yosef is Mechabe v'Sa'oretz? Of the Pasuk, in Dvorim, Ato Hashem Elikim Ato Achiloiso, steht in Medrash, Omer Rav Levi, Omer Lefonov, Riboyne Shel Atzmoisov Shel Yosef Nichnesu La'oretz, Ve'ani Eini Nichnas La'oretz. Moshe Rabbeinu Kup mit Atayne. How is it possible? Aroyne Shel Yosef. Yosef told his brothers, Pakoid Ifkoid Elikim Eschem V'alisem Es Atzmoisem Izei Ilchem, and the whole Aboyim Sheva Midbar, the Atzomas, more in Seitus, the ganze Meise, how did they, Serach Bas Osher told him how to take his Orein out of the Nile, out of the Nilus, and they took it, and Vayikach Moshe's Atzis, Yosef, Imoi, Moshe Rabbeinu is carrying the Aroin Shel Yosef till the end of Sefer Yehoshua. We'll see, we'll get there, he's buried in Shechem later on after the end of Kibush Chaluk. So Yosef was Mechabe Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu Kupit Atayne. How is it possible Yosef, that I am Tereach, while everybody else is busy with the Bizas Hayom, I am the only one, Chacham Levikach Mitzvahs, and to be Zeiche, to make it happen, to be my Ashbea, Yishbia, Yosef was Mashbia them, to take that Tzomas. And I am not the one who is getting to get buried in Eretz Yisrael. Omar Le'ah Kodesh Baruch Hu, Mi shehoide be'artzoi, Nikbor be'artzoi. Umishalei hoide be'artzoi, einoi nikbor be'artzoi. Yosef hoide be'artzoi minayin. Somebody who comes in his moide, kumt from Eretz Yisrael, has the schus to be buried in Eretz Yisrael. Yosef was moide be'artzoi. So he's zeiche later on to be nikbor be'artzoi. Moshe is eina moide be'artzoi. He doesn't get the schus. Where do we find that Yosef was made of Ba'artzoi? Gvir Toyemeres Re'u Evilonu Ish Ivri. She says Ish Ivri. How does she know he's Ish Ivri? V'loi kofar ela gonoiv gunavti me'eretz ha'ivrim. When he comes to confess who he is, he doesn't change his place of birth. He doesn't say, I am from somewhere else. Gonoiv gunavti me'eretz ha'ivrim, nikba be'arzoi. Minayin shenema v'es'atzmes yisro she'elu me'eretz Mitzrayim kovu b'Shechem. Ato, shelo yediso be'arzecho, einan nikba be'arzecho. Keitzad, bnois Yisroi, oimrois ish Mitzri tzilonu miyad haroim, v'hu shoisek, shoimea v'shoisek. Lefichoch, lo nikba be'arzecho. Moshe got a title, ish Mitzri. And instead of going to say, Ich bin Aid, I'm Ish Ivri, I belong to the tribe, he was quiet. He was quiet. Taking Chazal timing why he was quiet. He didn't want to be captured, he didn't want to send back to Mitzrayim. Al Koponim, at the Kuna Stempel, Lo Yehoida Be'artzei. You're not identifying yourself with the nation that you belong to. You don't have the schus of being buried in Eretz Yisrael. Yosef was Hoida Be'artzei, where they put him into jail. Golev Gunafti Me'eretz Ha'ivrim, he does say, he says, Ish Ivri, she comes along, Zlika, the Eishes Poitifar, comes along and says, Ish Ivri, and he doesn't, not only he doesn't deny it, but he has Shtotzilzach, Golev Gunafti Me'eretz Ha'ivrim. I want to say, this Shabbos, today, it was the Yortzeit, 113 years from my Elta Zeder Blazer tells her, Blazer Gordon. The Meyasef in Yeshiva tells the Licht in London, Abiro, and he was Nifter in London. Why did the Blazer why did he go to London? I don't know if people know, but I would like to say this story. In the Aniyas, which was in the Yeshiva, was Moyodik. The Bochum didn't have Gemaras to learn. Just want to say over a story of some Mekabel and Mishpocha as a sort of Meise. They were at Gewaldike Aniyas in tells. They didn't have a way to buy new Gemaras. So every time with a new Machzer, they took the old Gemaras, but since the Gemaras were Tzerissen for the first time, Bochum was existing Gehoda, where the Gemaras was in ganzen Tzerissen, so they took it to the Koirich, to the binder. And they took it to the binder, and they asked him to please rebind it, and it used to be a rebind. It came along, the Zman Choirif Tov Reish Ayin, the winter's man. The Blazer went, he told the Bochum to bring the Koirich. He brought the Koirich. He gave him over all the Gemaras from the Alta Machzor with Old Tzerissen. And he asked him to please be Koirich the Gemaras for the forthcoming winter's mandol and Baba Basra in Yeshiva at that time, in Winter Tov Reish Ayin, 1910. So the Koirich said, Anshuldik Rebbe, I very much like to do business with the Yeshiva. And the Rav Betmir, that tells the Yeshiva, is asking me to go ahead and bind the Gemaras. Who am I to say no? But, the less machzer where I bound this Gemaras last time, I still wasn't paid for. The Gabe from the Eitzah Asrom came and he said, I have written down by me, Zol Gemara Baba Basra, I never get paid for. So the Blazer was very sharp, told them, Mamish Besura Toiva. He says, why is it Besura Toiva? He says, the halacha is Koine B'Shvach Kli. So Bimele, all the Gemaras that you bound last time, B'Yeseda belong to you. If they paid you, so you makne the Shvach Kli that you were koine and you give it over to them. But they weren't in as much a din pay you. Una koine B'Shvach Kli comes out of all the Gemaras. You have a kinyan in the Gemaras, it's yours. So all the Bochrim will learn, the Ganze tells the Yeshiva, and learn more about Babasra and learn in nine Gemaras. You know what kind of schus you have? Por 100 Bochum sits and learn the Gemaras was belongs to you. You don't have a bigger schus than that. You should say, Mam Shekeza, thank you. So, the binder said, he said, if they paid you, there'll be Pokea the Kinyan. If you Pokea the Kinyan, it's not yours. You don't have a schus of Limnater. Everybody's not learning in his farm. So he said, Rebbe is Hashem Amso, aber ich kann nicht kein Geld zu kaufen Brot auf mein Kinder. I don't have, it used to be the Koirich was better off. And in the matzav, I don't have what to eat. I don't need Koim B'Shvach. Ich such dich geschussen, ich such Brot. The Blazer was zerschrocken for the Meise. And gleich damals, he said he's going to collect money amongst other things, the reasons. There's many stories, it's not here the time of the stories. He came to London. And he was not Matzliach in London. Balbati didn't accept him the way they should have accepted him. And Yirag Mas Nefesh. And on Motzi Shabbos, he was Nifter Daled, Odor Aleph, Tov Reish Ayin. He had a Levaye, was steht dort in the Zeitungen, in the London Times, von Jenet Kufa, von 113 Jahren zurück. never had such a big levaya. In London, 30,000 people came then to levaya of this rabbi that came from Russia, came from Poland, from Lita, that he was, it was a heroic levaya. In the levaya, whoever came to be maspid him was Reb Shmuel Yitzchak Hillman. Shmuel Yitzchak Hillman was a Rav in Ireland, and he learned in tells of Shmuel Yitzchak. He gave the shver for Rav Abramsky. He heard that the Blazer tells him was nifter. Levaya was a couple days later, on Monday. He came in to the levaya. Amongst other maspidim, he was maspid, this big Rebbe. This Drosha went down famous in the Hall of Fame of Spadim. The Hesped was Reb Shmuel Yitzchak, hat gesagt auf Blazer tells her. So he said that he came up and he says, Gemara steht Chazal sagen in Eimerim befonov shel meis ela midvorov shel meis. When you come to the Pnei HaMeis, the ultimate aspect is dvorov shel meis. So he said, Poshte Pshat, whatever he said, he says, Ich habe andere Pshat. Dvorov shel meis, was wohl der Meis gesagt itzter? What would Reb Blazer say himself if he was alive? So he said, the Posuk steht, Ki gonoiv gunavti me'eretz ha'ivrim. Mir vergangen wird von Eretz ha'ivrim, von dem Merkaz ha'yadus, von Lite, Eretz ha'ivrim, was dort liegt teure. Vegam poilo asisi meumo, ki somer oisi baboyer hazeh, and I did not do anything, I didn't accomplish anything with the yeshiva, ki somer oisi baboyer hazeh, and I am now going to Elei Kever, Elei Bor. This is Levaya, which the Hesped went down in history. Upon this pasuk of Gonav Godav the Meretz Ha'ivrim of Yosef was Hoide Ba'artzai, Nikba Ba'artzai was used then by Shmuel Yitzchak. The Hain to give in the Yortzeit, darf noch Smaskil sein, as Gonav Godav the Meretz Ha'ivrim. Upon him, Yosef was Hoide Ba'artzai, he was Mechabe Veretz Yisrael, and also you see when he called his sons, he calls his son Menashe. What is the Menashe? Ki noshani elikim es kol amoli ves kol beis ovi. Gedenktach the Tata, gedenktach beis ovi. He remembers Eretz Yisrael throughout all the tahapuchos, all the tahaluchos that Yosef went through. He comes there, gimuchet be'eretz nochriyo. He gives the son to perpetuate noshani elikim es kol amoli ves kol beis ovi. He remembers always the dmus diuknoi of Eretz Yisrael. He's chibeves artzei. He's also zochali kovi b'artzei. You know, Bnei Tzlofchad, when they come to Moshe Rabbeinu, they say, Ovinu meis b'midbar, v'hu lo yo'oyo b'toicho eido anoyadim al Hashem b'adas koyach, ki bechet oy meis. Ubonim lo hoyu loy. Tzlofchad ben Chefer was mekoishesh eitzim b'yem HaShabbos. The Gemara has a machlekas. So there are machlekas in the Gemara in Shabbos and Daf Tzadik Vov. What was the chet of Tzlofchad? Rabbi Akiva says the chet of Tzlofchad, he was the Vayimtzu Yish Mekoishesh Eitzim B'Yom HaShabbos. He was, Rabbi Akiva says that was Tzlofchad. And Vosi Geven Tzlofchad, the kavana of Tzlofchad was L'Shem Shamayim. Why did he do it? Steht in Tesis dort in Shabbos in Daf Tzadik Vov. Bnei Yisrael saw that due to chet HaMeraglim, they're not nichnas le'Eretz Yisrael. So they came to be me'ar, and they say, Vibal the ganze Torah was given in order to go to Eretz Yisrael, and now because of Chet HaMeraglim, we're not going to Eretz Yisrael. So, Mimele, there is a ganze question mark about the Kiyum Torah. And Tzlofchad wanted to show, he was Mechal Shabbos, to Inu B'Yediyah, he was Musre, that he get an Einish Mise, because that's to be Mechiach to everyone, that the Chukei HaTorah, HaShvirim, Vekayomim, he went and he made a Chil Shabbos in order to get killed. According to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseir, the Mekoishesh Eitzim in the Midbar wasn't that, and what Bnei Tzlofchad says, Ki Bechet Emet, he was from the Ma'apilim, which is try to be Leichem in the Knaani, and with Ari Hara from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe says, Rabbeinu, if you remember, even Macharas, they came a few Ma'apilim, they wanted to be go to Eretz Yisrael, even though Kadosh Baruch Hu told them not to go to Eretz Yisrael, because of Chet HaMeraglim. It's not so posh what Teisa says that because of Mechal Shabbos, the Shaili, if the Chet of the Mekoishesh was before Chet HaMeraglim or after Chet HaMeraglim. To say the Shtikol Torah, Teisa brings down, it's a medrash, that they thought that once the Chet HaMeraglim, not Nichos L'Eretz Yisrael, the Mitzvah Sater is not Negeah, it's only if the Chet HaMeraglim took place before. Okay, but if the Chet of the Mekoshish in the Torah appears before Chet HaMeraglim, in Sifri Zuter state that the Chet of the Mekoshish was in Chof Aleph year in the Shabbos after they came to Morah, and then when it's Tave on Shabbos. Well, we know that the Chet HaMeraglim, the Shalosh Shniya Shalach Meraglim, stating more in Tainis Daf Chof Tes, and the Chet HaMeraglim did not happen until a year later. So you can't say that. It's a Machlekes in Midrashim. Halkoponim, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira says he wasn't Tzlofchad, it was a different person. Ki b'chetoi meis, he was from the Ma'apilim. What was the Ma'apilim? Ma'apilim had the Gewaldike Tshuko. They went against the Ratzon Hashem, but they had Cheshkom Az, as they the Losh Nasipurna, to go to Eretz Yisrael after Chet HaMeraglim. The Mochros, we're going to go, we're going to conquer. The Hilo says, Moshe Rabbeinu says no, because Baruch says you're not zeichet to go to Eretz Yisrael, but they wanted. According to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, that Tzlofchad was from the Ma'apilim, so it comes out, Vibalti had such a chibo, azo, to Eretz Yisrael, at kedekach, he was masking to be mistaken benafshay, to go, he wasn't mesugol to digest the gzeira that he's not going to Eretz Yisrael. That was Tzlofchad ben Cheke. You know, state in Kadmoinim, in Etlecha Kadmoinim, that the Loshen of Tzlofchad is made out of two words. Tzlaf Chad. The Gemara, very, very, very interesting. The Gemara in Beitze. The Gemara in Beitze in Daf Chofei, steht the Gemara, Omar Rabbi Shimon ben Loki, Shleisha Azinen, Yisrael Ba'umeis, the three people, the three things which are Azim have a certain Azus. Yisrael Ba'umeis, Kelev B'chayas, Tarnagol Ba'oifes, V'yesh Eimrim Af'ez B'beim Adako, V'yesh Eimrim Af'tzlaf Be'ilonis. The Midas Sa'azus, because of the very certain character of each and one of those things, the Gemara mentions also the Ilan, which is called Tzlaf. Rishonim said, because if you look at the leaves of the Tzlaf, they come out as a spitzik. They are sharp at the end. Tzlof Chad is the Tzlaf, and Chad, he has a Chadus, he has a certain sharpness that that's what the name of Tzlofchad. The Maral says that the koyach of to Bnos Tzlofchad, where they take the koyach to go ahead and ask for chelik in Eretz Yisrael, they took from the father was mushrash beliboy, the chibot Eretz Yisrael, and he also has the azus of the father that went, he was from the Ma'apilim, who went keneged Moshe in order to get to Eretz Yisrael. So Bnos Tzlofchad are combining two things, the chibas haaretz, lomanigora, and also they are combining the azus to stand up a few girls. Chachmonias, the Gemara said, the Wetzitkonias, but to come and stand up for the right to be Yerush Chelik in Eretz Yisrael. So this comes, as I state in Maral. It's very interesting. It's a Gemara in the end of Shabbos, not end, the Gemara in Shabbos Daf Kufnun. The Gemara says a story, Tanu Rabbanon, Maise Bechosid Echot Shenifretz Olei Peretz B'toich Sadeu. He had one of the gather, had a peretz as a pirza. B'toich Sadeu, V'nimlach Oleo Legoidro. He was on Shabbos, he goes there and he sees a hole. He saws a hole, can come animals, can come azikim. He decided he's going to make a gather on Shabbos. He's not allowed to make a gather on Shabbos. V'nimna oisa chosid. He refrained himself from doing so on Shabbos. V'naso loineis ve'olso boitzlaf. As I state, it was also boitzlaf. Umimeno hoiso parnososoi uparnosos anshei beisei. Who is this chosid echod? Gemara says that every time it says chosid, there's two mandomim in the Gemara, but one of the mandomim is Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Eloi. Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Eloi state in Aleph Sefer Kadmoinim al Pi Kabbalah, he was a Gilgul of Tzlofchad ben Chefer. Tzlofchad did not have bonim, but his neshama was mizgalgel. Now Tzlofchad was mechal Shabbos, the sivev hamesoivev. As I state in Megala Amuka, state in Kisvei Ari, that sivev hamesoivev, that he's going to have another nisayon of Chil Shabbos and then be mizgaber. The Chil Shabbos, which he did in the Midbar, according to the Mandoma, he was mechal Shabbos. He would have the tikkun of his neshama would be that later on his neshama would be mizgalgal in Chosid Echad Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Eloi, and therefore that's the way his tikkun would be mushlam. As I state in Shara Gilgulim, as I state in Ari, as I state in Megala Amukos, comes out, they gave him the Eitz Atzlaf in order to, which is the Midas Azus, which was the Eitz Atzlaf was given as a Sechar to the fact that he was Fakert, he was Mekadesh as a Shabbos, and that was the Tikkun of Tzlofchad. You know, some really gesagt that Amiretchin, more the Medrash says, Taskenim Balatesis at the end of Parsha Shlach the Rosh brings down, it says, Lama Nishbachol Parshas Mekoishes Parshas Tzitzis, Shosh Oma Kodesh Baruch Hu Mekoishes Chayev Mise, Oma Moshe Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ribono Shel Olam En Lo Pesha Badover Hazeh. Shem Mahoya B'daita Sheli Yishkach Es HaShabbos. That's the Zolbates in Shabbos that we brought before. V'lishmer Es HaMitzvos Shu Yom Shabbos Ve'ena Noiset Tefillin Olav Lefi Shein Chayevim B'Tefillin V'lo Yelo Pesha Shem HaShochach Shu Shabbos. Here is a shtickle different. Since he didn't wear tefillin, so he forgot that it's Shabbos. So he did not Chayevim Tefillin Shem HaShochach Shu Shabbos. Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu LaMoshe Kvar Hisru Boy Shenema Vayimtzu. Says Vayimtzu ואומר לי שבס ולא שומע ולקח מחויב סקילה. ומה שאמרת, אז זה שתית מדרש, אז זה שתית דסקין, דרוש, I'm quoting, שאין הלבש תפילין, אני אצווה לבוני במצווה שחייב להסעטף בציציס בשבס, ואז יהיה מס כמצווה שבס, כמו שנאמר, וזכרתם אס מצווה, כל מצווה השם. The Rambam brings it down also at the end of Parsha Shlach, ואחר כך ציווה במצווה ציציס שיזוכו בכל המצווה ולא ישכחו את השבס או זולוסו מן המצווה. So they're giving him the Shabbos, the tzitzis, in order to remind him of the... So it says, I saw, wird gebracht as in kama v'kama mekoimes, even the Shiurei Sefer Yehoshua, it says that the Gemara says in Shabbos, in Daf Kofem with Beis, that Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi, Karchoy Minogosh Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi of Shabbos, Mevin Loi Arevo Meleo Chamin, they used to bring him a hat full of, a bucket full of water, v'roichetz pon of Yoda v'raglov, u'misate v'yoshe besadinim ha'metzuyotzim, v'modoim l'malach Hashem tzvokes. Who is this person? This is Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi. Mitzvah tzitzis is the one who reminds us of Shabbos. So Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi was the Gilgul Tzlofchad, was Michal Shabbos. Because of him, they were mesak in the mitzvah of tzitzis. So the takone was his nisatef betzitzis already in Erev Shabbos, and he is the one, this Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Eloi, who is the Gilgul of Tzlofchad. Just want to add, we don't have too much time, the Gemara has a shaila, if Chalukas or it's more 3 mandaomim, the Gemara in Baba Basra, a 3 mandaomim, Daf Kuf Yud Zayin, how was there to Yisrael mischalak? If it was mischalak, the Yetz Mitzrayim, it was mischalak l'boyo oretz, so Machlekes Rabbi Yoshi, Rabbi Yonason, Rabbi Shimon ben Lozer, or was mischalak l'zeu l'zeh. The Gemara says it's different, this nachla, because the kids were Yerush and they were Moirish back to their father. I'm not going back to these 4 Shitas and Rishonim. We don't have the time to learn it. But Mishuna Nachla Zu, Mikol Nachla Shebatera, Shebakol Nachla Yisachayim, Yerushim Esameisim, Vikan Ameisim, Yerushim Esachayim. He went to the children, the grandchildren, they were Yerush according to the Chalokim, went back to the grandparents and redivided to the children. In the Psukim by us, we don't have time, I'll be Mekatzer, it says, Vayiplu, take a look in Posuk Hey, Vayiplu Chevle Menashe Asoro, Levad Me'eretz Agilod Ve'haboshon, Asher Me'eretz Ayard. What is Chevle Menashe Asoro? I'm reading Rashi. Shisha L'Shisha Bote Oves Aminuim Lemala. If you remember, the Bnei Menashe and the Yisrael, it says Aviezer, Chelek, Asriel, Shechem, Chefer, and Shmido. Those are the 6 Chevle Menashe. Ve'arbo Livnoi Tzlofchad. There's 4 Chalokim of Bnoi Tzlofchad. Lo yishetei kol achas beisav le'atzmo. Not each one of them is considered beisav. Elo shenot la'abo Chalokim. Says Rashi. Chelek shel aviyim, shoyom yoytzi Mitzrayim. Ulefi minyan hayoytzi Mitzrayim nischal koretz. Rashi calls the Shitas of Aishiyah. So one Chelek is the Chelek. The father was Miyoytze Mitzrayim. Tzlofchad was Miyoytze Mitzrayim. And according to the Minyan Yoytze Mitzrayim, they get Chelek in Eretz Yisrael. V'chelkoi im ochiv b'nichsei Chefer oviv she'oyo gam u Miyoytze Mitzrayim. Chefer was also, came out of Mitzrayim. Chefer, and Tzlofchad his son. V'hoyo b'choyer v'not al shnei chalokim. The Gemara says that Tzlofchad was the b'choyer of the Bnei Chefer. So he gets 2 chalokim, okay? So they get one chelik of their father Tzlofchad, another chelik of Chefer, who got a double portion with his brothers, because Tzlofchad was a b'chor, he got a double portion in Chefer's land. Ve'oid oyolem chelik achi aviem shemeiz b'midbar b'loiboni v'notlu nachalo b'chelkoi. They also got a part. Tzlofchad had a brother who died, didn't have children. He went to the brother, went to them. So they got 4 chalokim. V'lehuska kakosu, says Rashi, lashmiyeinu chelki abonos and lamet shenotlu chelik b'chayre u'lelamdecho she'eretz Yisrael chelik em Yerusha, says Rashi, muchzekes ilona b'aviseinu shim lo yikein ein ab'chayre notlu b'rokem muchzek. The only reason why it says abo chalokim to tell us that they got double portion. Whatever they're going to get in the future, it's called Roy. It's not a Mursik and B'chor, it doesn't get Kiflaim. To tell us, we saw it already once before, that Eretz Yisrael's Muchzekes Lo Mavasenu, it's not Pashut, it's not Bnei Tzlofchad got their Chelik in Eretz Yisrael. As I state the Pashut Pesukah, the problem is, if you look in the Parsha of Bnei Tzlofchad in the Torah, Ken Bnei Tzlofchad Davis Nosein Titel Machuza B'toich Ache Avim V'avarta Nachlo Lohem. Pasuk says 2 things. It says, no saint titain. Right now, you should give. Moshe Rabbeinu is given, and then ve'avarto in the future you'll get. What's these 2 things that Moshe Rabbeinu is talking about? Ki'ilu b'noi Tzlofchad, again in 2 things. If you look at the pasuk, Alei Elah Avorim, Rashi says, Loma nisbechol lekam, ki b'shomar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, no saint titain lohem. Omar oisit tziva amokel ma'anchel sheba utra gzeira. Moshe Rabbeinu was very happy because Baruch Hu says, no saint titain, you should give Bnei Tzlofchad. So Zoraya that he's going to Eretz Yisrael, it's botla gzeira that he's not going to Eretz Yisrael. Otherwise, what's no saint titain? You're not the one giving, it's going to be in the future. Omar le'HaKadosh Baruch Hu gzeirasi b'mekoyim oimedes. So it says, no saint titain, Moshe Rabbeinu is giving them. So L'maisa the Gzeira is not, it says Nosen Titan, it's Beloshan Hoive, so I the Gzeira b'mkomi Amedes. So the Poshta Pshat, you have to say that Nosen Titan, since Tzlofchad was the son of Chefer, was the son of Mochi, the son of Menashe, and he got from Moshe Rabbeinu, Vayelchu b'nei Mochi ben Menashe, Gilodo, so the b'nei Mochi was Kovish the Gilod, and so Mimele, it says Nosen Titan, he'll be the Noisen in every ayah to b'nei Mochi. That's the Poshta Pshat. But it comes out l'chure that they got the nachla in Ever Yarden. So I want to say Poshta Zach, and I hold it's Lamita Shalteir. If you look in Rashi in Parshas Vayechi, Bonois Tzado Alei Shiur, says Rashi. Targum shel Unkelus Bonois Tzado Alei Shiur Trei Shivtin Yivkomi Benoi. Will be 2 shvotim. Bonois al Shem Bnois Menashe Bnois Tzlofchad. Notlu chelkom b'shnei evrei hayarden. Rashi says clearly and precisely they got 2 nachlis, one in Eretz HaGilod with Mochi ben Menashe that got the nachlo, and also with the other half of Shevet Menashe who got their chelik here in Eretz Yisrael in the Chalukah of the Yeshua. The reason why, I'm quoting the Ramban at the end of Parshas Mat, lo yikol b'nei Mochi notlu nachlosim be'Eretz HaGilod. Okay, there were certain chalokim. Bnei Tzlofchad got 2 different. We said they got 4 chalokim. They got the part of Achi Aviem Lameiz Bamidbar B'Lo Bonim, and he took his chelik with Mishpachas Mochi in Ever Yarden. So that nachla they got in Eretz HaGilad. Nachla of Tzlofchad himself and chelik of they took in Eretz Yisrael, right? Rashi says, "Beroika b'muchzek." This halacha of Eretz Yisrael, muchzekes lo navaseinu, is not said in every ayah. It says only in Eretz Yisrael. So Bnot Tzlofchad were smart girls. The Moses Chachmonius. They wanted to get a double portion, and they don't want to lose the chelik b'chayr. So it says like this: whatever our uncle who took with Mochi ben Menashe in Eretz HaGilad will take in Eretz HaGilad, and whatever our father is getting, since we don't want to lose the double portion, that we will get in Eretz Yisrael. So the pasuk is very hafla v'afela. The pasuk. Ken's b'nei Tzlofchad is nosein titel lemachuzas nachlo b'toich achei aviem. The achei aviem is nosein titel. Moshe is giving. Why? Because that's Mochi ben Menashe that gets the chelik HaGilad, And the brother of Tzlofchad, who was Misyachas to the same Mishpocha, he indeed got that part of Mochi ben Menashe that received it in Eretz El Gilad. The Havarta, which is Beloshan Asid, is talking about this Eretz Yisrael Shemachzekes alone. Now we're saying that's what we're dealing in the pasuk over here, that they're getting their Nachalo and the Nachalo of Chefer and the Kiflayim Roike ben Muchzek in Eretz Yisrael.